Hey, is that the same tour where you hear that Bob Orton Jr. may or may not have a hit on him?
No, he did. I mean, apparently he did. Yes, that was the same tour. We had to drop him off. We would go to, I believe it was the Easterly Island, Shikoku. There were 4 islands, and I've been on all 4 of them because we used to go, man, we worked with N.O.W. We worked everywhere. We worked all the towns around. So we were at Kumamoto, which was very beautiful. Hokkaido up north, which is a beautiful place also. Honshu was the main island with the Fuji and Tokyo. And then Shikoku was the Easterly Island. And I think it was the Easterly Island. I think. It may have been a smaller island. But Bob couldn't go to that island because he had a mafia hit put on him. So we would leave him at like a bed and breakfast. Now you can imagine how boring that was. There's no internet. There's no books. There's no nothing. Nobody speaks English. We would leave him there for 2 days and then pick him up when we came back through because Bob apparently, Bob's a pretty salty guy and a tough guy, but not a bully now, nothing like that. Whatever happened. He slapped a mafia guy in a bar and apparently popped him pretty good. And they told him, if you come back, we're going to kill you. And of course, Bob was like, screw it, I'll go back anywhere. It doesn't matter. But they wouldn't take it back. They were worried about his safety.
Let's talk about N.O.W. for a minute. A lot of hardcore trading fans, they hold that promotion in really high regard because even from a strong style standard, this looks even stiffer. I mean, this might be the hardest hitting of all hard hitting wrestling. Was that your experience in N.O.W.? Like they really blurred the lines between entertainment and just kicking each other's asses for real?
Holy shit. It was unbelievable. Texas was stiff. That's how I broke in. Now I broke in with the world champion, Brad Ryan. It's also Frank Anderson, I guess it was, came over to help world champion. So I broke in by a pretty good shooter, but Texas was stiff. N.O.W. was different level. I mean, different freaking level. They hit you with chairs like you would not believe. I mean, you wouldn't believe how hard they were hitting you with. Back then, guys didn't put their hands up, nothing. These chairs were not like the metal folding chairs that might actually fold around your head. They were like the chairs that had the rubber pad on them and stuff, so it didn't make a sound or anything. It just hurt. I mean, they would beat you half to death, and it was stiff wrestling. Kendo Nagasaki, Mr. Sagarada the Boss, that was his gimmick. His whole gimmick was to hit you hard with the chair. Now, imagine that. You're out there with him. You're going to get hit 15, 20 times with a chair. It was brutal out there.
Did it ever look like it was getting out of hand?
Yeah, it did. I saw some guys really beat some guys up, and I don't know if they both enjoyed it or not. There was not a fight in the back. I never saw a fight in the back, but I saw some stuff out there with Mr. Wada one time, and I thought, if that ain't a shoot, I don't know what one is.
You're not on the tour, but you are on the March 93 tour. I guess there's a 3-nighter, and it's called Battle Force 93. And we see some other names, not just yourself, but Bobby Duncombe Jr., but now some new names. Booker T's on that tour. Buddy Landell's on that tour. Steve Simpson's on that tour. And allegedly, Kendo Nagasaki and Booker T, it got a little heated. Do you remember seeing that one or hearing about that one?
It wasn't heated. It was not heated. It was funny. It was not heated. I don't, if it was, I was there. I saw the whole thing. So here's what happened backstage. So Booker T is, Booker. He's one of the best guys in the world. Yes. Booker loves to talk. And and I love to hear Booker talk because he's so entertaining. So I'm out there working with Kendo, and Kendo beat me half to death with a chair. So Booker comes back and he goes, I mean, he don't do that to the Ebony Experience. Ebony Experience don't take that. The Ebony Experience don't get hit by no chair by nobody. He goes, that ain't happening to me. I said, what are you going to do, Booker? He said, I'm going to kick him in the belly, take the chair from him, and wear that man out. I said, okay, all right. So this is what's going on. Booker has him the next night. Kendo grabs the chair. Booker kicks him in the belly, just like he said, takes the chair, and wears Kendo out. So we're like, hey, Booker did it. Then Kendo gets the chair back. He beat that Booker half to freaking death. After about 20 times, Booker looks back and goes, just it was funny.
My goodness. Well, at least based on what we can see on Cage Match, I think this might be the last tour of Japan that Buddy Landell ever did. I've always been a big Buddy Landell fan just because I love the stories of this guy's life. You want to talk a guy who marched to the beat of his own drummer. Maybe nobody did that more than Buddy Landell. What was your experience like with Buddy on this trip and this tour? And what did you just think of him as a professional and as a dude?
As a dude, he's batshit crazy. Buddy was crazy. I mean, nuts. I love Buddy. Buddy was a wonderful guy. Buddy gave me the best advice anybody's ever given me. I used to come back like all the young guys, and I'd ask everybody in the dressing room, did you see my match? What'd you think? And all you really want is for people to say, man, you were good. That's what you really want. You know, you're not trying to get advice for the most part. Sometimes you are, but for the most part, you just want some affirmation that you did a good job. Buddy pulls me aside. He goes, kid, how long you been working? I said, not that long, sir. And he says, do you know when you have a good match or not? I said, pretty much. And he says, quit asking everybody in the dressing room. He goes, you look like just a freaking mark. And he said, just find you one or two guys you trust, pull them aside and ask them away from everybody else. He goes, that way you don't look like a mark. And from that point forward, I never did it again. And from that point forward, it stuck out to me how everybody else did it. So Buddy was a good guy. I mean, a really good guy. Buddy had so many issues, though. I mean, you know, Buddy got beat up by Butch Reed. I don't know how many times because he ran into him in his car. You know, Buddy was combing his hair, and Butch Reed looks back and sees Buddy in his car, and Butch is in a new Lincoln. And Buddy runs into the back of Butch's car, and Butch beats him up. Well, then every time Butch would get drunk, they would tell Butch, hey, remember when Buddy ran into your car? And Butch would beat him up again. So Butch beat up Buddy several times over one car wreck.
I want to ask you about South Korea. I mean, you've mentioned before that you went to South Korea, but I have not been able to find any written results in English for that. I don't speak Korean, so I don't even know where you would go to find that. Can you tell us about your experience in Korea? Because this is something that we've never really talked about.
Yeah, I'll be happy to. I worked with the Lee Won-pyong, and I can tell you my record in Korea. I was the Korean champion probably 15 times and lost it 15 times. So we worked the house show loop, and I was the one that worked with Lee Won-pyong, who was the main guy. He was the main, the head of the company, and also their main baby face. And so I would be the Korean champion. I'd walk out there, lose the title to him every night. No TV. We worked all over the peninsula, all over everywhere. And it was, I don't know, the Japanese guys sent us over there. And when we first got over there, me and Duncan, they left us in the middle of South Korea, in South Korea with nothing. I mean, we were there for like a week. We didn't know we weren't working for a week. So we're in Seoul, Korea. We don't know anybody. I mean, we're going down we found a 7-Eleven, and finally I said, Bobby, these wieners we're eating, we were getting just like wieners off the shelf. I said, they're terrible. He goes, why don't we boil them in the coffee pot? I said, okay. So when we boiled them, we realized they were covered in plastic. We're eating the plastic of wieners that they were covered in. And so finally we found Itaewon, which was the tourist district. That's where all of the U.S. troops hung out. That's where they had American food. They had all kinds of stuff there. They had Hooker Hill, which was literally a hill with hookers all over it. But we finally found a place, but we were stuck there for a week. They just left us. It was not a great experience in Korea. Lee Won-pyong was great to me. He was great to Booker. He did steal the spinner Rooney from Booker. He had Booker teach it to him, and he started using it on the same show Booker was on. But they did stiff us on money one time, and that's when we never went back. But they didn't stiff us bad. They said they had a tax, but what they had was they had a couple of shows canceled, and it was exactly the same amount that we had got for those shows. So we didn't go back after that.